from the time that they entered the college to the time that they finish 2 years later, they will have progressed a lot and be able to have a conversation freely with me in English. When as a comparison, when they entered the college, they could not really do that. They had to speak in Japanese to communicate with me, but by the time they're graduating 2 years later, they can speak in English and have a conversation with me. And when I see that kind of progress, it's very satisfying. Feels like we've achieved something. So my name is Heidi Thompson, and I work at北星学園 University Junior College in the English department. And I'm from New Zealand originally, and I am an assistant professor here at the junior college. Okay, so my main focus in research is applied linguistics. So applied linguistics is how it's not just research and theory, it's how can we apply linguistics research to the classroom and to people actually learning a language. So how can we use the language knowledge that we have found through research and help others to use it. And in particular, I research how to teach multi-word expressions. For example, these are expressions that are used very commonly in English. For example, I think I will. So it's 4 words, and we use this phrase very often, and when learners of English can know these kind of very common phrases, it can help them to communicate more fluently, speak faster, write more freely. So my research is looking at how can we teach these expressions to students so that they can use them to increase their fluency. Yeah. Okay, so my main classes at Hokusei, I teach 4 vocabulary building classes. Vocabulary building. So in the first year of the junior college English department students learning, they all have to do a vocabulary building class, and that's in the first semester and also in the second semester. So those classes, my goal for those classes is that students will learn the most frequent vocabulary in English that will be as useful as possible for their communication needs. And when we do learning in the classroom, I do a lot of partner work so they get to practice using the language and the words in communication. And we also use a lot of games as well. And some of those, even though some of the games that I used in the classroom were online before this year anyway, but we did them in the classroom together using the computers. So some of those things that we did in the classroom have actually been able to continue in the online classroom. Yeah. Another class that I teach is international business for the second year students, and that class is all in English. It's an Eigo ni Yoru class. So we look at the basics, fundamentals of what enables different countries to trade goods and services between each other. And over this last year, the last couple of years, it's been a really interesting topic because international trade and international business and relations have changed a lot. We can't take any of our trade relationships for granted these days. So we've been learning about the fundamentals of international business in those classes. I teach mostly in English, very careful English. Yeah, and at times I will speak in Japanese if there is a learning point that is best understood in the first language. It's faster to understand. So, but basic instructions, I will use English. Yeah. So Hokusei students, I think, are very bright and inspirational. A lot of them want to travel and they want to work with international companies or interact with people from other countries. So they're very excited to learn English to improve their speaking ability, and and I think that Hokusei students can be very successful when they're motivated by those purposes of interacting with other people. A lot of our students come into the junior college with a desire to work in the tourism industry. So, for example, airlines and hotels. And then there's also students that want to start their own businesses. And there's students who want to travel after graduation and then find out what they want to do after that. So we have a real range of students. And a lot of students don't actually know what they want to do when they enter the college, and they come in and they learn and they think about what they're going to do, and they learn about what are the job opportunities out there. And we have a job relations office here that help students to find the job opportunities that are out there. So it's a good opportunity for people who have career goals already, and also for those who haven't worked out what they want to do and they're just learning about what they're interested in. Yeah. Yes, and I've also been doing research into tour guide training. So recently I published a paper with two of my colleagues here at the junior college, Tanaka sensei and Morikoshi sensei, and our paper was looking at how tour guides are trained in the UK. So they have a very robust system of training, and we were looking at, can we use this kind of training model for Japan, for Japanese tour guides. So in the UK it's called the Blue Badge Guide, yeah. No, so the first thing that brought me to Japan, I mean, there's not just one reason that I've come to Japan, there's many, but when I first came to Japan I was on a working holiday, and I chose to come to Japan at that time because New Zealand and Japan have an important trade relationship. So in New Zealand, Japanese is actually a language subject that we can take in high school. So I learnt a little bit of Japanese when I was in high school, and when I was at university I had quite a few Japanese friends. So we had a lot of Japanese students studying at Victoria University in Wellington. And so that all combined to make me interested to visit Japan. So yeah, so I came first on a working holiday and wanted to work in the tourism industry. Yeah, I stayed for about 5 months. Yeah, I first came, I was doing a homestay for a month with a friend, and then I worked in the hotel for maybe 4 months. Yeah, I was living in Fukuyama, I think, Hiroshima-ken. Yeah. So I first came to Hokkaido to work at Hokkaido Tracks in Niseko. So that was, for me, that was like a dream job because it was using English and Japanese, so it was bilingual, and it was an international business in the tourism industry. So it was everything that I was interested in. Yeah, so that was the first reason I came to Hokkaido. Yeah. Niseko, the impression was it was kind of very country, but because it has such a lot of people from other countries living there, it felt very homely to me, kind of, yeah, a nice place. And the nature in Hokkaido is beautiful, so that was really, yeah. So Yeah, Hokkaido reminds me a lot of New Zealand, and that's maybe one of the reasons I enjoy living here. We have, so in Hokkaido you have big open lands with forests and mountains and lakes and rivers, a lot of agriculture, farming, and in New Zealand we also have this kind of very big open spaces, mountains, lakes, rivers, and a lot of agriculture. So. Yeah, we have onsen in New Zealand, but we don't have onsen culture. Yeah, so there's not so many places you can have an onsen in New Zealand. Yeah. Outdoors, so we do a lot of cycling and camping, and then more recently, just a couple of years ago, we started canoeing, Canadian canoeing, and then at the moment, winter, we do a lot of backcountry skiing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I've skied so much more in Japan. We don't have the big city life in New Zealand that we have here in Japan, and people in New Zealand, there's a strong connection with the outdoors. So a lot of people in their weekends will go hiking or some other kind of outdoor activity. So it's very natural. Yeah. Yeah, so I think if you are thinking about studying what you're going to do after high school, or if you want to start studying something new after working for a while, then what's really important is to think about what you enjoy doing, what you enjoy learning about. And if you can find something to learn and study that is interesting, then you'll enjoy studying. So I recommend for students to think about what they want to spend their time doing, and then find out how to best learn how to do that. Yeah. You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make.